Hello, and we are the Bus Dogs, opening up for the Maze team building project for the culture workshop in Black and Beach. So, our team is Austin Grantham, Hannah Bisbee, Caleb Dula, myself, Peyton Neiman, and Micah Holloway. All right, our process so far and our role assignments. So, Caleb, being the group manager, has the job of monitoring our assignment completions and our quality of work. So he's done a great job also of finalizing our agenda and filling that out and getting that knocked out. Hannah, being the historian of the group, is tasked to take notes and records of productivity. So she pretty much just follows up our meetings and our assignments with extra side notes that can be super helpful and beneficial to our completions. Um, Micah, being the HR manager, also keeps up with keeping us on task, making sure we're not too distracted at some points and times, and obviously to take care of little problems and mishaps that can happen along the way. Austin, being our communications coordinator, telling by his role assignment, he just takes care of all things communications. So he'll send emails, he'll communicate if we're having any problems with just about anything, and he does a great job with that. And me, being the vision leader, my goal is to make sure everything is organized and grammarly correct. So I pretty much have to have OCD, is what I like to call it, and I'll just make sure that it's aesthetically pleasing and just pleasing all around.
For our project, we have to create a maze that can be stored easily and set up fast and reusable. We have to figure out our material and what are the best options to use. We also need to find out what materials can be the cheapest and sturdy and efficient. We have researched materials to use. We saw ropes, chains, mats, and a projector. We have decided to go with the mats because they are the most efficient for storage and are within our budget. We researched the storage aspect and we found that the mats would just be able to be rolled up.
So, as you heard, our project was to create a way for the maze they currently have to be reusable and able to be easily stored. But before we could do any of that, we had to conduct some research. We researched four things: budget and portability, materials, organization and storage, and time management. Um, the budgeting and portability was researched so we could figure out how we could do these things and how to create the budget. Materials is just to find what would be best for the project and what would be easiest to move around. Organization and storage, just to keep how we researched how we could keep everything in check and just figure out how big or small the maze we can make the maze. And then time management was researched so we can find ways to manage our time better and not procrastinate and everything to the last minute.
A while ago into our project, we sent out a stakeholder survey in which we got feedback from the employees at Black and Veatch to better help ourselves with the maze. And a lot of the information was minor tweaks that we could do with the maze. Like some employees thought the maze was okay, but little changes could be done. And that a lot of them wanted it to be less time consuming and have less people set up the maze. And here we have a screenshot from one of the responses that we have. Just give multiple feedback from the different employees that we got information from.
So the question we were asked by our client was, how could we more effectively use and store the map? So the original maze idea was not the greatest because it only consisted of putting masking tape on the floor, and that was just too time consuming and it took time out of the lesson. So our solution was to buy a roll-up map and paint the maze on the map. And it meets our client's expectations because the mat is easy to roll up and to take less space. And it is also easier to set out so they can have more time during the activity. So we also did meet our stakeholders' needs because the maze takes up less of their time, so they have more time to do the activity. It is easy to store away for when they're not using it, so they could save it for later. It would be made out of better material that would last longer and wouldn't take as many people to set up. So the benefits of the mat is our main problem was how could we store it and make it more reusable. So the mat's able to be rolled up and used many times over several years. Another benefit is that the maze is already painted on the mat, so all they have to do is roll out the maze when they want to use it. The only drawback, though, is it is a little bit of a tripping hazard since it is raised off the floor. So when they're doing the activity, they would have to make sure that everyone is aware of this hazard.
So this is the blueprint we made for our maze and what we want it to look like on the mat. As you can see over here, I have a link to what mat we think would have been the best. Since we're making 5 mazes, the 3x20 would be the cheapest option rather than just buying 5 3x9s. And then the paint it's just from Walmart. It doesn't really have to be this specific kind. It's just the one I found that I thought would be best. All right, so this is the budget we decided to use. As you can see, the mats are a little bit more expensive than we thought, but overall we have $500 for each of the mazes. So from the budget I made, we would only spend $261. So our clients will still get some money back.